do. Oh, there we go. I'm very excited to be back for this program. I remember when Gary came to Rotary and we were meeting at Big River's training facility. And if you all remember, it was like when E.F. Hutton spoke, we all just sat there enthralled. And I mean, I think I got back to work and I shared it with everyone. I said, you all know what all Gary Ervin has done. So we're really excited that Gary's back with us. For those of you who don't know about Gary's tremendous career, Gary was born in Germany, but moved to Kentucky when he was 2, went to Union County High School where he wrestled there, and then he went to Central Missouri State University where he wrestled, and then he coached wrestling there. Afterwards, he returned to Union County and started a cable company that became very, very successful, which he sold to Time Warner and started Urban Cable, which has moved to Henderson just last month. Yay! Very excited. Very excited. Not only did he build his cable system, he also had an interest in mountain climbing and became a mountain climber. Now, for those of you who are like me, reality TV junkies, he might look familiar to you because he spent 2 seasons racing around the globe with his daughter, the 2009 Miss Kentucky, Mallory Irving, and he was a participant on the Amazing Race. So please help me welcome Gary Ervin.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Don, for the introduction. And Eric was a lifesaver. My presentation was on a IBM and converted to Mac. And lost his last year's Easter egg. So he was able to fix it in a heartbeat. So thank you. I asked, I mentioned this earlier, it's been a long time since I spoke here, and I asked what I should speak about. I said, do you want to hear about Urban Cable? Do you want to hear, I just returned from 3 weeks in Alaska. Do you want to hear about my latest expedition? And Alex just this week said, after I fixed 10 slides for Urban Cable and 10 slides for mountains, said nobody wants to hear about your business. We want to hear about the mountains. So I got a shameless commercial here where I put a little bit about the business. So I got 5 slides about the business, who we are, what we've been doing. We've recently moved an office into Henderson and are looking at expanding. So we're excited to be here. Like I said, I've got a few of my coworkers here with me that are working out of this office. We're actively recruiting more help. We're going through a growth spurt. We're in an amazing sector of the business world right now. We deliver broadband. And, we've got a tremendous need for it. So we've been blessed to be in the right place at the right time, and we're just trying to hang on to the growth that we're experiencing. And kind of what we do. There's 3 basic parts of this business. One is we follow the money. Look at where the money's coming from. We follow opportunities. We had 4 major hurricanes last year that we worked. We have fiber to the home, broadband deployment, and then we follow the technology. Right now, we're probably one of the leading construction companies around fiber optics and broadband, and what the internet and 5G and cellular have done have exploded what we deliver. So this is a statement I saw in a magazine. Data is the fuel of the new economy, even more so the economy to come. The most valuable resource is no longer oil but data. I truly believe that. So where's the growth coming from? It's 4 basic sectors: healthcare, education, business, entertainment. It's all been highlighted with COVID and the necessity to work from home. I had a chart. One of them showed our growth. I'm not as proud of our growth as the way I am. My coworkers have been able to redefine what we do every 3 years. This is the list of our companies, and you see how the colors come and go. And these are different industries. We've had to recreate ourselves over 40 years a lot of times. In the last 10 years, we've become a master of finding what the next wave to ride is. There's a list of our local offices and our corporate, and a little orange or red, I don't know what that is, teardrop, upside down teardrop. So that's all the commercial I'm going to do. Now I'm going to talk about the mountains. My wife said it was a midlife crisis. In 2014, I took my 2 sons to start climbing. This is a quick video. Determine what makes you happy, and don't let anybody else define your own happiness, right? Is that an amen?
So what made you want to start climbing mountains in the first place?
Turned 60. I don't know.
Okay.
One of the things would be Edmund.
Oh, you never told anyone that.
I did. Good morning when we were on Everest. Get knocked down a lot, get back up. You know, I like doing the stairwells and high rises, but you know, there's just something about drawing your nature. You know, so the bad weather, it's all part of it. That was my training partner and my grandson. So, all right, I pushed the wrong button. There we go. So I think I talked a little bit about this last time. My goal and my quest is the 7 major summits in the world. That's the largest mountain in every continent in the world. And the last 3, I need to stand behind this.
No, we got you.
The last 3 mountains I've climbed, I started an initiative. You know, there's got to be a reason you do this. And I started an initiative to document what I learned about myself, about the world, about other people. And I put it down as lessons learned. It was something that was produced from a tremendous amount of guilt. I missed the birth of my first grandson. I'm there climbing it. So I said, I'm going to make something out of it. So every 2 or 3 days when I'm on a mountain, I keep a journal on the website. I write what I learn about myself, what I want to give to my grandson as a lesson. So these are a list of lessons that hard to learn. A few days on the mountain somewhere, but you can visit my website. That has the full story around each lesson. So I started in 2014. I never complain in a contract. So I started in 2014. I took my sons, graduated from college and high school. Both of them were wrestlers at Union County. Took them. I said, we're going to go to Africa. It's a beautiful place. I just got back from being gone for 3 months doing the 2 seasons of the race. And then my 2 sons went to climb Kilimanjaro. It was the last mountain they'll ever climb. It was something that caught me on fire. Brought my daughter-in-law to climb with me in Colorado. I think I broke her from climbing mountains. So the last time I spoke with you, I had 3 of the 7 mountains. I climbed Kilimanjaro in 2014, highest summit in Africa. Aconcagua, the second highest of the 7 summits, the highest in the Americas and South America. Elbrus, the highest point in Europe, is in Russia. And on these, it's just incredible journeys. The first one I did with my 2 sons, and from then on, I've done them by myself. Not for, it's just simpler to do. Plus, I can't find anybody with the same desires for punishment that I have. So I think the last time I spoke with you, I had these 3 done, and I had one attempt. I've learned a few things along the way. It's a pretty gross picture, but it was a guy named Don Cash that found a useful thing to do with his frostbitten fingers. He made a necklace out of it.
Oh.
So I speak with a lot of kids. I tell them what I learned about myself. I want to know your limits. This guy pushes a lot too far. You know, the picture where he pushed it to a point where he lost his life. Learn from your failures. This is the picture of me when I got off of Everest, the first attempt in 2016. I made it to the South Summit. During that climb, I experienced 6 people that died along the way. Frozen. Walked across. This was one that I took a picture of that ended up not making it. But you know, it's part of climbing. I was stuck on the ropes with these individuals, and they had a shirt that's 25 years old. I said, you know, we got to do something. We were 28,000 feet. He said, there's nothing you can do. He said, they shouldn't be up there without a shirt or without oxygen. And he said, you don't have the experience or equipment to get them down. I can't risk my life. So, you know, it was something about that experience in 2016 that taught me what is winning, what is losing. I define winning in mountaineering as getting as high as you possibly can get and getting home to your family safe. So, sacrilege to take a picture of a dying person, but I saw him struggling for life. He looked so much more peaceful than dead. So it's part of the mountaineering, and it's part of the lessons that I learned. Making good decisions. The guy that lost his 2 fingers is in this line right now. This was in 2019. He ended up making it to the summit, and shortly after he made it to the summit, he had a heart attack. He died. And left his body up there forever. The year before I took this picture, was at the exact same location at the South Summit. That was where I turned around in 2016. 2018, I was switching out an oxygen tank here at 28,000 feet. And it was the first time I felt that I was going to be successful. So making good decisions, not doing something stupid. When you're at above 26,000 feet, it's called a death zone. If
you make a mistake or get in trouble up there, you're gonna die. The young Sherpa that told me that about the people dying was correct. It's just, there's not, you can't be rescued, helicopter can't land there. So making good decisions. And when you're at such an altitude and such high risk of a bad decision, your decisions are very conscious, they're very focused. You think about what you do, even with the thin air, your brain doesn't work very good, your body doesn't work very good. Your decision making has got to be consistent. So with that, I'll go into kind of the three mountains that since the last time I spoke to you, kind of through the different mountains and kind of what I've learned along the way. I speak with a lot of kids, so but I always have to quiz them. The teachers wanted me to have something about geography, something about history. So, and then, like I said, I talk about the culture that I experience in each continent. So, first person to summit Mount Everest. Yep, Edmund Hillary to the left. He got sole credit for a long time. His Sherpa was Tenzing Norgay, and they summoned it together. So to claim one person was kind of bad. He got the credit for it. He won the big prize that there was, or the big purse for being the first person. He was on an English team, and he was in New Zealand. The second trivia question: how many people have summoned Everest? It's more than you would think. There's been 4,469 people have summoned. The statistic that my wife focused on was how many people died. It's the 6% fatality, 279 of the people that summoned perished. So it's something that if you keep pushing it year after year after year, that 6% compounds and becomes dangerous. This was a picture of the luxurious sleeping arrangements I had on the 4 high camps going to Everest. Top left corner is Camp 1, Camp 2. The one that's sideways is actually the South Col. It was Camp 4. And the one where you see that's the picture of the Indian Army jumping in front of us while we were in the tents. That's on the Lhotse base. That's Camp 3. I made it to the summit. There's a picture of me and my Sherpa. You can see we're on oxygen. There's a statue up there. I was on oxygen. I had very little oxygen going to my brain. I still don't know what the statue was of. It looks like a conquistador. I think it's a Nepali god, but there was a statue on the top of this mountain. And I spent 20 minutes on the summit of Everest. And there was that for 2 months. It was my second attempt, or 4 months. It's my 4th expedition to Mount Everest, with another 2 months on top of that. 6 months. So, since 2014, I spent 2 to 4 months on the mountain somewhere in the world. And was that 20 minutes worth the months that I spent trying to get there? I tell everybody absolutely, it was worth every second, every inch of pain that I experienced along the way. So it's something that it's easy to talk about painful things, sleeping on ice, the cold, the bad food, the sickness, seeing people die. The picture showed me with the frostbite on my face. I tell everybody it comes with a lot of things that are negative people can understand. The pain people understand. That 20 minutes, it's hard to explain, the feeling and what I saw in that 20 minutes. So that was Everest. That was in 18. After 4 years of trying to finally make it. 2019, and while I'm having problems talking, I froze during that mission. I froze my larynx, and in Russia, I froze the uval in the back of the throat. I breathed cold air too fast. That's what happened. So I still got some scarring in there, and scar kind of goes pretty quickly. So Vincent Massive expedition was one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. Like I said, I climbed for the culture, I climbed for the people I meet, I climbed for the people I climb with, I climbed for the beauty of the nature. In Antarctica, which is where Vincent Massive is, there is no culture. There's nothing but penguins. It's a big chunk of ice. But it's probably the most beautiful place I've ever been. I saw something earlier. I'm going to go back and go to the South Pole. It is that much of a beautiful place. My question and answer. This came from Clay Middle School. Where do you find the most fresh water in the world? I told me it's 70% of the world's fresh water is stored in the glaciers in Antarctica that are receding pretty quickly. This was the first place we flew into. It's just, like I said, it's just a beautiful place. This is what the first and second graders wanted to concentrate on after they figure out. I didn't bring my stomach. How I go to the bathroom. What do I eat? And then they want to know about animals on top of the mountain. And I had a kindergarten class in St. Anne's, St. Agnes, who was asking me a question about animals. And kindergarten raised their hand and politely jump up. Okay, you have a question. Yeah, you see the animals, and these are kindergartners. These questions, and I said, yeah, I said the mountains, it's too cold up there. There's no animals up there. It's void of all plants and animals. Well, that didn't satisfy me. And they said, what about penguins? They like it when it's cold. So I think about it and said, well, penguins eat fish, and Mount Everest is way away from the ocean, so there's no fish. So there's no penguins on Mount Everest. And another one back raised their hands, and I determined that there's no way I was going to win this. In the back said, what about polar bears? They eat people. So the only place there are polar bears is in the North Pole, South Pole with a polar bear. And back in the animal questions, which pole has the penguins, and that's only on the South Pole. The pole is the penguins. So this is a picture of me walking in or out. Our plane landed in that little hole there, and this was day 1 either coming in or day 15 going out. We're in a alpine descent. Roped together, tied to each other's sled. It's very dangerous. The biggest danger in Antarctica, one is the cold, and the second one is the crevice, the fall risk. We'll be walking along, and so we'll fall into a crack. This is some of the pictures of the plane coming in. We landed on the Union Glacier. It's a Russian 1960 model Russian jet, the cargo jet that we flew into. I'm a pilot, and these broken instruments terrified me. And this is a picture of me on the top of it in January of 2019, 16,000 feet, minus 54 degrees up there. You see there's no skin exposed. We had 2 other climbers with us that had frost injuries, skin and feet. I was fortunate to get up there with the right amount of equipment on, the right amount of clothing on, and was able to get down safely. So goal of mountaineering is to get as high as you can get home to your family in one piece with all the fingers and toes. Yeah. Tell my wife after I told somebody that one picture of me and Everest, in 2016, beat up, I saw 6 people die. Emotionally, it was wrecked. Physically, it was frost. It caused numbness in the hands and feet, kidneys, foot function for 2 weeks. I tell everybody it took me a year to get my wife convinced that I need to go back. And the last mountain was, before I talk about 3 weeks in Alaska, was Carson Pyramids in Indonesia. And questions, school kid questions, and interesting fact that Indonesia, the economy, culture in Indonesia is amazing. It was controlled by the Dutch for 300 years. The Dutch they created the stock exchange. They created a lot of economic things that were just well ahead of the time. They did a lot of it by monopolizing spice trade. So they owned an island that they traded the British from because they owned one of the Indonesian islands on spice nutmeg. So the Dutch said, well, we'll fix that. We'll trade them for a worthless island that we own so we can continue to control the nutmeg business. And this island is still around, but they traded the island in Manhattan. Run Island, Indonesia. Where was the swastika originally? Everybody goes to swastika thinking it's Nazi Germany, some of the Nazi. And actually, it's not. It's a Sanskrit. It's an Indonesian Sanskrit. And it adorns many of the houses. It means the exact opposite of what the Nazis did with the original swastika. It's harmony and peace. So you see swastika everywhere. And the last question is what happened to Vice President Nelson Rockefeller's son in 1961. You kind of get a hint, two guys standing behind him. Indonesian, especially Papua, they still practice cannibalism. I arrived there, it was rained out for 2 weeks to get to the mountain. So I attended the local villagers have a war parade every year. I met the war chief and was able to spend 2 weeks while we remained out on the mountain exploring the culture and meeting Pompeii. Didn't meet any cannibals, but supposedly it's still practiced there. It's an interesting culture. The natives, there were multiple tribes. The one that I stayed with and was chief was the chief of the Dani tribe. They had lost 500,000 people. They killed each other. They fought the Japanese in World War II. They fought the Dutch when they owned it for 300 years. And they fight each other. So the celebration that I went to in the past 30 years, they have a big party. All these tribes come together and they do a mock war. They have their bow and arrows, their spears, and they do a mock war. And for the last 30 years, it's been fairly peaceful. So it's part of the culture, it's part of the mountain, it's part of what we want to have. It also, what was kind of neat about this mountain, it's called the Tyrolean approach. Where you walk across the road or slide across the road, and it's from this rock to the rock behind you, looking down, it's almost 2 miles. So it's the highest traverse in the world where you do the Tyrolean approach. Picture of me on the summit, and that was in June of 2019. And then past 3 weeks, I've been in Alaska. I just unpacked my bag today. I took the approach, it's called the West Buttress approach, which is this. And I don't have a lot of slides. I don't have a lot of stories about Alaska, but I got to the crow's nest at 17,000 feet and turned around. It's another mountain that I went as far as I could go and turned around. I was on another rope team that was full of 20-year-olds, 60-year-olds that couldn't keep up the pace. It's one that I'm going to return to in a year. I ain't told you like that yet. But it was a beautiful mountain. I was able to spend 2.5 weeks on it. I learned the mountain. I learned the people. I learned what I need to do the next time. So I'm going to return in a year and hopefully make it to the top. like I said, it was a gorgeous mountain. We dropped off on ski planes, and I felt like I was shipwrecked. They dropped us off. This is the runway where the plane dropped us. We had all our gear. On this, you have to carry everything you got with you. I had 120 pounds of gear that I had stuck on my back. This cooler had an emergency cache that was very deep. That emergency cache had a case of beer. The day I returned I walked 17 miles down the mountain that day. I was exhausted. I couldn't hardly walk another step. I found a shovel and I dug a 7-foot hole, and I got that emergency cache out. Got a bag of popcorn and a can of beer. So this was the walk coming out. This was at 11 o'clock at night. It was a gorgeous descent. We walked up and we were in constant snow. We had pretty bad weather. We did 10 consecutive days with 120-pound packs and pulling sleds, and we were able to enjoy the walk out and the beauty that mountain showed us on that day. So that's really all I gotta say. I'm still trying to put Denali and how I talk about it. Disappointed I didn't make it to the top. I'm excited I get to the back. My wife's not. I'm glad that I had the opportunity to speak with you. I'm passionate about what I've been doing for the last 8 years. Mountain climbing has taught me a lot about myself. It's left me with a lot of good things to tell my grandkids. If you get a chance, I've got a website. Creative, it's called Gary Climbs Mountains, and in those I go into depth what I learned about what that lesson is, what happened to make me write that lesson down. So with that, Ed, I know that I've been talking probably more time than what I should have, but I appreciate y'all letting me talk. Thanks for having me, and if you got time, I got some gear up here. I left the dirty clothes I took off back yesterday. It's got the boots I wore in Alaska. Some of the tools I used to climb the mountain. So that said, I'll let you guys go, and if you have any questions, you ask them now.
Does anybody have any questions for Gary? No? You know, when my family just got back from a trip out west, and one of the things that always, really interests me is the pioneers and what drove them to go to the frontier. And sitting here listening, you hit the final frontier here on Earth. And, what drives you to do that? I mean, to be such a pioneer, is there just something inside you that drives you to see, to be where you've not seen, or is it the climb, or is it the summit?
So you want my answer or my wife's? Yes. It's funny. It drives. It's the same drive that has drove me to try to do better as a person every day, to do better in the business, to work harder, to make a better opportunity for my family and the people I work with. It's simply climbing a mountain. You pick a goal. You've got to look for the beauty in every day and every moment that you see around you. And mountaineering in mountains, every step is a new picture. So just seeing that, and I know I don't do a good enough job of explaining what it means to me or what I see in it, but that's what drives me, that next step. I had to return to Everest because there's 300 feet of that mountain I hadn't seen. So I spent another 2 months so I could see that last 300 feet. I'm going to return to Denali next year, so there's 3,000 feet I haven't seen. So,
Mark?
All right, here's a follow-up on that. So that 20 minutes at the top of Everest, you talk about indescribable. Is it more what you saw or is it more what you felt? Or was it both?
It was both, and you dream for 2 months, I'm in the tent with a Sherpa that doesn't speak English. And you think about try to visualize what it's going to be like to stand up and what you're going to say, what you're going to do, what you're going to think of. And I got there and I'm void of any thought. It was a surreal colors. The sky was so blue, the snow was so white. And I was standing on the ridge of the mountain with one leg in China and one leg in Nepal. And the only thing that I could think of was I think it was Entrepreneur-Ervin, maybe Hillary made a comment. He looked up and saw heaven. He looked down and saw the world. So that was the only thought I had. And I wanted to be present for that 20 minutes. So I just let things, my mind just flowed. So it's kind of goofy thoughts, but with 1/3 of the oxygen that you breathe in today, goofy thoughts are very easy. Hypoxic, yeah. My poor lady that works for me, I write. The only thing that works up there is a pencil and a piece of paper. So I stuff out. So I write in a pencil and a piece of paper. And, my writings come down to the secretary, and she can understand Egyptian hieroglyphs because she was able to make out what I said and put it on my website that day's journal. So, but that's what I did. That's what kept me sane. That 20 minutes. I remember every second of it. I remember it probably the rest of my life. It's one of those moments in life that you'll never forget.
Any other questions? Ah, Mike.
Last time you joined us, you said you were departing to go to Florida with your wife for 2 weeks, and then you were headed to. That seemed like a tough transition, going from sea level at 85 degrees to the fall.
And she liked to kill me this time because I got back from Alaska. I had a weather report that was every morning we would post the board, and it was -20, 35-degree winds, 35-mile-an-hour winds. And I had to come back, and she booked a vacation for us in Florida. So I came back from -20, 17-hour walk out, and go right straight to Florida for a week. So one, I'm not used to people. I'm not used to hot weather. I get pushed back in the middle of it. But I'm glad to be back in civilization. To being able to experience the 3 weeks in Alaska. And I was kind of glad to be in Florida. It was all proud.
When I was in Denali, like in 2018, for 3 days, we could see the top of the mountain. And they were just marveling about how 1% of people could see the top. But they were also very concerned that we saw it for 3 days. From a weather standpoint, is there much talk there about climate change?
There is on the walkout, the picture that I had up there earlier. I fell through 2 crevices on the walkout that I had to be rescued out of. Late in the season, it gets real cracky. This is a picture. This is my sled and me, and this is our guide that was walking out with us. And this cliff in the back of the glacier. It's a 3,000-foot drop off. His sled, he rolled a crampon off his foot. His sled was going off that cliff, and I'm tied to the sled.
Oh.
So I had to stop the sled from going off the cliff because actually the trail went this way. It was called Motorcycle Hill. I saw the mountain 2 times in 2.5 weeks I was there. One was on the way out this day. So it was constant snow, foggy, some real snowy, foggy mountains. So I saw it twice. One of them was the day I got there, and the other one was the day I left. So it's not very, if you're just going there for a day or two to see the summit, it's hard. to stand on the sun is easy harder to get it with the weather window. Get that sun. It's hard because you don't want to be up there. High winds or it snow.
Well, thank you
Yeah.
again so much. Like you said, if you want to come up and look at his gear afterwards, please come up, and you all have a great week, and we'll see you at the Professional Development Center next week.
Fun sitting with you.